Hello there guys, it's Stephen here, back on another video. Happy New Year. It wasn't the best of nights, and Liverpool did their best to ruin that for us, as did Man City, but I hope 2017 is a prosperous one for you all. And thank you for all coming on this journey through this channel and so on, whatever. Anyway, back to the actual football stuff. Basically, a lot of people have been asking on Twitter about Maffeo and Angelino, asking what my opinion was on their loans away, so I thought I'd use this opportunity to discuss this today. My tired, hungover self will dissect this fullback situation in a little bit more detail and why these have been loaned out, especially considering the performances of our fullbacks against Liverpool. They weren't at the best, they are getting old, so it does make you wonder why we loan these players out to Girona in the first place. But we'll go through a few points and discuss the idea of loans, what they can get from it, and why they aren't at the club now. Now, the first point is whether they're actually good enough for City at this moment. Now, I guess it's City's prerogative to decide this, and they've obviously decided that they aren't at this second. I would agree and disagree to an extent. I don't think a young player can ever be fully ready for a first team unless they actually play games. And I guess this is why they've been sent out on loan in the first place. I personally think they could have got the experience at Manchester City to maybe further their game, but they feel, and that's Pep's decision entirely, and you have to trust someone of this knowledge who's got such a good reputation with young players. They feel that they need more time to develop, hence why they've sent them away on loan to Girona. The second point is that this was always the plan for Pablo Maffeo, at least. The idea was, allegedly, this is what I've read online, was to basically have him around the first team squad for 6 months, give him the odd game here and there, get him involved in the first team squad, let him learn from Pep, and then send him out for the second half of the season to get some first team football, regular games, which he wasn't guaranteed to get here. I know we all want him in the first team, but you can see why they're probably a little bit reticent to send Zabaleta and Sanya to the sidelines, two very experienced players, two ones that leaving in the summer. So they probably thought, Maffeo, get him used to the first team, get him learned a few lessons, and then get him loads of regular football towards the back end of the season. Same with Angelino. He's had obviously a bit of experience with the first team now, a taste at least, not loads, but still a taste, and he's obviously been around Guardiola's methods. And the idea is now these both play regular football in the second half of the season to prepare for next season when hopefully they'll be more involved. The third point is whether this loan is actually the right level for them. A lot of people have turned around and said, probably with some justification, that the second tier Spanish football isn't maybe the most challenging, but football isn't quite as simple as that, and neither are loans. You don't always have to be at the highest club, the best club, to learn the most from it. A loan is about personal development just as much as about technical ability. Going to any team competitively, in theory, is better than playing academy football where nothing really matters. Girona are currently at the top tier of the second division. They are fighting for their future, so to speak. They want to get into La Liga because that is where the money lies for them. They want to get there, so it means a lot. Going from playing for academy teams to a team that wants to get up, where their jobs, their pay packets and so on, the senior pros around them, it means so much to them. That will definitely rub off on the younger players. They will learn what it means to be under that pressure week in, week out, under a fan base watching them from the stands, knowing that these games actually matter. That experience is key. And when you consider the fact that Zabaleta, around the age of 19, he was playing back home in the Argentinian league at that age, only for a mid-table club, is it really any less of a drop in quality than Maffeo playing as a first-choice right-back for a team that could be around La Liga quality potentially? I don't think it is. I think it's very similar. The point is that he's got loads to learn from this, and so has Angelino potentially. A lot of people have said that maybe these players would have been used to the first team now, and I'm inclined to agree, particularly with Maffeo. He is a warrior. He's got the legs that Zabaleta and Sanya simply don't have anymore. He's also intelligent, a physical player as well, despite his not great size. He's strong, he's determined, he's also a little bit of a leader, and in general, he's an excellent prospect. He's shone at every level he's played for Manchester City. But at the same time, I do understand why they've gone for the experience there. I think Maffeo, though, is more or less he's guaranteed more or less to get games next season. I would have liked him in around the first team squad, but I also get the idea how he needs regular games, and we can't guarantee him that. Even if he was a second choice right back now, he probably would still only be playing a few games towards the end of the season. I get why he wants to play this. His agent as well is also Pep Guardiola's brother, so that says a lot. He's definitely in his mind for it. He's definitely there. He definitely isn't going anywhere next year, but you do wonder if they could offer something more. Angelino is great going forward, probably better going forward than Kolarov and Clichy, but there is question marks defensively about his ability. But the one thing you would get from Angelino is plenty of energy, plenty of pace, and plenty of aggression in terms of technical ability. He's very front-footed, he's very attacking-minded, but he is questionable defensively. I don't think he was ready personally, but I do like the idea of him being around the squad. But he makes more sense, in my opinion, to send out on loan than Maffeo. But so be it. This is what it is, and I do think they both can learn a lot from this. It's also worth considering that a successful loan isn't the player being the best player in the team. Loans are more than just playing football. They are more than that. They are about growing as a person. They are about experiencing difficulties. They are about finding out what works in your game, how to improve. They are about being away from your club, being away from your family, being in an environment that you're not used to. These things are designed to push players outside their comfort zone. Look at Harry Kane's countless loans away from Spurs. They were a mixed bag, but you wouldn't think that he'd become one of the best players in the Premier League based off that. In fact, you'd laugh if someone said he would have scored 50 plus goals that quickly, given the fact that his loans were in general pretty naff. But that says it all. Spurs knew they had a good player there, but they knew that all these experiences, all these little loans away were building him to something better, that all he needed was that one moment. All these little things would click one day and become the player he is. And it's the same with any young player. Don't look at a loan and say, well, he's not scored loads of goals, he hasn't played every single game, and decide to rule that player out. That is naive. It is not the case. These are young men making their first experience in professional football. It will be difficult because they are trying to earn their way still. It could be the same for Maffeo and Angelino. Because they're playing at the second tier of Spanish football, it doesn't necessarily mean they are therefore not good enough for Man City. That is not the case. They might not be, but you can't tell yet. This will be a good loan for them. I don't necessarily like the fact they've gone out loan, but it makes sense. And don't worry if they don't play in a game. Don't worry if they don't. If they're not perfect. If they make mistakes at Girona, it's all part of the learning process. In conclusion, I'm a little bit disappointed they've gone, genuinely, because I think they could be very good players for us. I don't think they're totally ready yet. Maffeo could definitely do a job. He was excellent against United and a very good young player, but he does need these regular games now, and Angelino does definitely too. These are very intelligent players, and they are only very young still. I would like to see them around the first team squad, but I suspect that will change next season. You've got to remember, 3 of our 4 fullbacks are actually out of contract next summer. They are all going, so we are looking to the future here for this one, and these will definitely be in City's thought processes. But anyway, Luis, what do you make of it? Maffeo, Angelino, should they be in the first team? Should they be around the squad more regularly? And do you agree with the loan? I get the loan. I get it. I think it was part of a bigger picture. I think it was the plan all along, but we'll see next season, I think. Anyway, guys, have a great new year. Subscribe if you haven't already. Get in the comments, like, and all that kind of stuff, and I will see you next time.